Hi everybody, Michelangelo Badio here for another installment of No Boundaries, sponsored by Sawtooth Musical Instruments, Chromacast Music Products, and Godey PS. Now the guitar I'm playing today is called the ES Relic. They have one in green, one in blue, and they also have an ET Relic that I'll be playing too. Hi Cynthia. I always like the beginning because, I'm very grateful. I have some really great fans, and, I feel like I know some of these people, even if we haven't met because we've conversed on the internet, but online. But I love doing these live streams, and I'm going to even try to continue them when I'm on tour, and hopefully, the timing allows it because I'll be in Europe for about 2.5 months next year. Anyway, let's do some shout outs. I'd like to, I saw Cynthia there. I see James. He's got a great collection. Hey, there's Ed Muscatelli, great friend. Nick, who I've known forever, who plays a mean double guitar. Yes. And Jim, let's see, Tanya, Denny, Brett, Alexis, Jenny, let's see who else. I've already said hi to Nick. Then there's Rob Ross, a great friend of mine too. Mike, Jason, John, the list goes on and on. Now, I really like these guitars. I've got everything set up. I have my online setup here, but you can hear. I mean, the thing that I love about these relics is they're hand done at the factory. And so instead of paying thousands of dollars for a relic guitar, you can get this for hundreds. They are on sale for, I think it's $3.99. And if you go online, whoops, here I'm reading here and my pick goes flying. Let's see. Anyway, so when if you put in the code MAB 20, then that is, you get a 20% discount. So let's see. Okay, we've got the guy that's talking about America here, which I love America, but no politics! No politics, dude! Politics is religion, bro. Like, you know what I do? I rock, bro. I just think metal. You know what my brain thinks? Metal! Heavy metal! That's it. Okay, so, but I love this guitar. And so here's what we have. There's a 5-position toggle switch, standard. It's, it's got the first pickup, which is the neck position. Then you've got, it's not really an out of phase position. We like to call it that because it's got that. It's a really articulate sound, and then what you really have. A lot of people refer to it as out of phase, but it's not. So you have the 5-position switch, which is this pickup here, 2nd position, these two, 3rd position here, 4th position here, 5th position here, and I love that. Good riff, and then I'm going to go into the sweep picking arpeggios part. But there are basically 2 picking disciplines where you put your hand on the guitar somewhere. You guys are talking about Man-O-War a little bit. I'll definitely talk about that a little bit later. But I've made a huge lifelong study of picking techniques, which is why, even though that I'm older, I'm still so fast. And for example, vibrant picking. I love this thing. I can't play that. It's kind of difficult stuff, Okay, but anyway, getting back to this, there are two picking disciplines. Now, I didn't talk about this in Speed Kills or my instructional programs because I'm teaching you techniques, and I was showing what you have to do versus it's not about whether you put your fingers on a guitar or you keep it as a free-floating system, but let me show you what I'm talking about. Here is the picking discipline that I use. John Petrucci uses it, Yngwie uses it, just a lot of great guitar players. And so what you do is you place your fingers on the guitar somewhere. It could be one finger, it could be two, it could be just touching it. It doesn't matter, but and see, you get that speed. And so I get that because placing my fingers on the guitar really isn't the most important thing. It's what I do here with my thumb and my index finger and my arm motion. I don't move my wrist a lot. I don't move my arm. And, I was watching this thing from Troy Grady. If you get a chance to watch his videos, really watch it. He studied my picking technique in depth, up close, slow motion. And he's done with a lot of other guitar players. And see, I have a very economical motion when I pick. Now, there's a second picking discipline where it's a free-floating system. So basically, you've got your hand like this. A lot of jazz players use this. There are a lot of players. I mean, Al Di Meola, even Joe Bonamassa for many, much of his playing uses. He'll revert to this a little bit, but most of the time, it's this free-floating. Now, I made sure that I got good at it so I could talk to you about it. Because in order for me, to feel like I know what I'm talking about, I had to actually play it and get a sense of feel for it. But like... And see, so without anchoring, you can play. It's a really great way to play, and you can be super fast. Now, say I've worked on that one, but I prefer to play like for example. I can get a lot of speed, really great velocity on it, and it's really clean. So instead of just going... which I can get speed on that too, but it's not my normal way to play. But these are the only two, either free floating or you rest your hand on the strings. Now, with sweep picking, first of all, you have to determine what is your way to play? Because see, there's fingers on, hands on, hands off. It's like almost karate kid, wax on, wax off. But so you have hands on, hands off. And so Robert is like, hands on, always mean, aggressive, ready to shred. And so what I do is this. I've said this many times, but again, it's always worth repeating because, it's great. Why do we practice every day? Or why do guitar players that are professionals, why do they continue to rehearse? Because, what you have learned, you can easily forget. And so you want to reinforce pretty much daily, or, sometimes you need to take a break. I've done that myself, or I took a break and I needed it and I came back and I felt refreshed and energized and full of new ideas. But you reinforce what you know. And once you maintain what you know, once you practice to stay at that level, and then the idea is to practice to get better. So there's really two parts of practicing, because a lot of people, especially when you get to that certain point out in guitar and an instrument where you're just so good at it, you practice to maintain that level of skill, that skill level. But then you don't want to become complacent. You want to add new weapons to the arsenal. And so with sweep picking, it is one of the greatest inventions on guitar. And I'm such an enthusiast about guitar. I still love it like I did when I was 10 years old. I'm enthusiastic to talk to you about it because there's so many things you can do. It is unlimited. And I'll give you a great example. When I went to the university and studied music, in the 1700s, during Mozart's era, which is called the classic era, Joseph Haydn, the era of change, right after the Baroque era, there were over 10,000 symphonies written during Mozart's time. 10,000. Now, the average symphony, 30, 40 minutes long, multiple movements, sonata form, where you have exposition, development section, recapitulation. I know all this stuff because I studied it. But they said that in this era, they felt everything that could possibly be done in music has already been done. What do you think about that one? 300 years ago. And so it's not true. But see, you have these people, with closed minds and, this, the critics. No one remembers the critics. No one remembers the critic that said that Led Zeppelin couldn't write, or the Beatles suck, or that Mozart played too many notes. Nobody remembers those. They remember the artist because the artist could care less. The artist makes music the way they have to fight for it. I have to fight sometimes to play what I want to play because there's always naysayers, and I'm not the only one, that are going to go, no, dude, you should do this. Oh, you should look like this. You should play like this. I have middle finger on each hand that I think about that I could raise for my response. I don't care. What I care about is being the best that I can be. And I have this long career that's proved that I wasn't wrong. And what I tried to do is help myself by helping you. So I learned about these two picking disciplines on my own. Nobody showed it to me. Nobody told me about it. I studied. I studied great guitarists like George Benson. I studied Django Reinhardt. I studied Jimi Hendrix, Eric Clapton, Michael Schenker, Al Di Meola, John McLaughlin, Robert Fripp, and then, even newer guitar players. Look at Polyphia, what they're doing right now. There's so much great guitar going on, but it still comes down to a few basic things. When you do an arpeggio, and it all comes back to this, sweep technique is a discipline. It's a technique. It is not to be judged by how much music you can it's not musical. Well, maybe you didn't make it musical. Or, it sounds fantastic, because you made it sound fantastic. But just an average sweep. That's the first thing you should try to do. That's sweeping. Now, on my Speed Kills programs, which you can go to, I have my own URL, learn-to-shred. Learn-to-shred.com. Put a hyphen in the middle of those two words. Learn-to-shred goes directly to my page at Metal Method. I go in depth on sweep techniques. I show the examples, I show the riffs, all this, but I want to give you like an overview of this because it can change your picking for the rest of your life. When you work on sweep technique, the hardest thing to do, and the reason I'm doing this again this week, is because I had a lot of people, private messages, and people online saying, well, I didn't quite understand. Can you show the examples? And I found that a lot of guitar players have a really difficult time with two things: alternate picking and sweep technique. And so what I've learned is how to show you this. And when I could show you and be honest about it, there's a great saying, you don't have to remember the truth. The truth is the truth. So when I tell you what I know, I'm telling you to the best of my ability and as truthful as I can be, because it's self-serving. It helps you, but it helps me. I practice what I preach. Now, when I do sweeps, what I did was I did this slowly. See, if you can't do it slow, you can't really play it fast, because when you play slow, do you hear every note? I go, it's like a harp. You hear, somebody said, is it best to start with, that's not true. Yeah, it's great to go. But it's actually best to start with 3 strings. Because 2 string. Okay, so now somebody said, explain my style of palm muting. I will get to that. I might as well do that now, because why not? When I palm mute, watch. Here are my fingers now palming. Now I'll use the bridge position pickup. Now, why can I do that without muting? Because I don't use a ton of overdrive. I have the overdrive from the amp, and I have an overdriver, my signature overdriver, but it's not distortion, it's overdrive. And because people get the wrong impression that to have sustain and to have distortion, you need a ton of gain. I never use all the gain from the amp. See, now when I use a palm muting technique, what? I just move my hand like this. So what I do is I just literally move my hand. What I find is that when I move my hand to like a palm muting technique, these 2 fingers, see, I like to anchor these 3, the anchoring technique. But when I palm mute, it kind of goes down to my little finger, my pinky. But what I've also found too is that it's almost free floating. So my hand is resting there because you're muting it. I'm using my palm to mute. And see, like. And I palm muted it. Now, I like also to not palm mute. I love that open sound. So I go. so I'm good at all of it, but I practice it too. What I do is like, I remember when Nitro was recording our first album, we did a song called Fighting Mad that like a... And there was a part in the middle. It's like, yeah, that's a... And I remember I wasn't getting the palm muting right. And I told Jim Gillette, not only is he like my favorite singer, I mean, I love him. I love the singer Eric from Manowar too. He's fantastic. He's the original vocalist. But when Jim was great at, we called him Chugs. We didn't call him palm mutes. We were like, dude, chug it. And I was like, I can't get the chug, bro. I can't get it. So what we did is we detuned the guitar and we just had Jim overdub going. It was mean. He's like, gong, 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 gong. It's like slicing your head off. I mean, it was just vicious. And I was like, dude, because we lived in LA, so every other word was dude. It's like, bro, dude, what's up, bro? I don't know, dude, what's up, dude? Bro, dude, hey, bro, dude. And so, but I was like, dude, that's heavy, dude. It's like, dude, it chugs, dude. And so now I'm goofing around, but that palm muting, when I worked on it after watching Jim play, because Jim was able, as not even a guitarist, to do a chug that was so vicious and it was in tune. So I worked on it. And anyway, yeah, it does sound like old Metallica. Sorry, I can see all the comments here. But, with sweep technique, let's bring it back here a little bit. I love to get off on tangents. Why? Why not? It's my live stream. And so... But what you have to do is have control. My analogy is this. A horse can walk and a horse can gallop. But to trot, T-R-O-T, to trot, where it's a controlled motion that's not galloping and it's not walking, is hard for a horse to do because it takes control. You want to blast off, you want to go into gallop mode, or you want to just say, screw this, I don't like it at all, and just bring it back down to walking. But it's control. And when somebody can train a horse to trot, I mean, it is very, very difficult because it takes control. It takes a lot for you to maintain that level of concentration to do that job. Well, it's kind of in some ways similar with sweeps. And so, just listen to that. And so when somebody said, 2 notes per string, that's a good way to start. But that's not really sweep technique. It's more hammers and pulls. That's why I said 2 strings is not really the way. See, people say, oh yeah, man, 2 strings and 3 strings and 4. That's not true. 2 strings are different than 3. 3 is a sweep. 2 string is either a hammer or a pull-off. Different technique. And so I recommend 3 strings. And see, play it slow. Go slow. But do you hear the clarity of that? Or just something this simple? And see, what you do is you sweep 3 strings down. Then you start on an up pick, hammer off, and then you sweep down to the 2nd string. So it's down, 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 then up, pull off, and then so down, 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 and look at the mechanism. Let's get up close and let me show you this. But do you see how smooth that is? That is the secret. You have to practice slow. You know, they said, there's this saying like, practice makes perfect. Well, perfect practice makes perfect. And perfectionism really isn't the goal. You want to get it good enough because, I've said this before, paralysis through analysis. If you are searching for perfection, you will never find it and you'll never get anything done. Make it good enough. And so when you're playing this, play slow. Okay, somebody wrote a really good question here. What is the difference between sweeping and economy picking? Now there's a good, sweeping in many ways is economy picking, but sweeping covers more strings in one mechanism. For example, like when I do this. Now, that's sweep technique. Now, economy picking is more string to string, where you would go, for example, 3 notes per string. Down, up, down. Then your next string, you move in the same direction as the string before it. That's only 3 notes. Now, if you're doing 4 notes a string, you don't have to worry. But usually 4 notes per string is also. So. I ended with a little hammer and pull thing, but that's alternate picking. But when you use 3 notes per string, which is very typical of a lot of guitar riffs, it goes like this. Down, up, down, down, up, down. See, in other words, you hit the new string in the same direction as the string you are leaving. So like, watch. Down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down. Now, if I'm going back the other way, see I'm going down, up, down. Now watch. If I start here on an upstring, up, up. See, so what you're doing with economy picking, the reason why they call it economy is because think about it as a violin. Watch the bow. When you're playing alternate picking, 1 note, 1 bow. It's when the bow is like flying. But see, economy picking is more like this. Bow, bow. So you're being more economical with your picking hand, or you're being more economical with the bow. It is, I'll give you a great example. I can play, let's see, can't play anything fast. Somebody wrote, I don't know, it's all stupid. Okay, anyway, what I've learned about this is I'm really good at economy playing. I love using economy picking. That's economy. Now, when I do this, watch, this is alternate. Now I can use economy. I see some things like Michael does not speed anything up. If anybody says that I speed things up, here's what I honestly feel. Well, I don't like to say honestly because it implies that I lie other times. But if you don't want to get anything out of this, don't. I don't care. It's up to you. If you want to talk about stupid things like, oh, he sped up this, I have a lifetime career of producing videos. How are you supposed to speed up analog tape in 1989? Tell me that one. I don't know. And so it couldn't be done back then. And you had to record on analog tape. To speed things up was a nightmare. And so you didn't have to. Now, yeah, you could play some games if you wanted to, but there was no reason to. You know, we were young and we played what we played, and that's it. But I can tell you this, for the people that like to yak, it's better to listen. I have a great saying that I wish I made up, but I didn't. Never pass up an opportunity to keep your mouth shut. And so I'm here to help. If you don't want to listen to me, don't. Doesn't matter to me. It changes zero in my life. Nothing. Okay? I'm going to do what I do. And what I'm doing is a lot. And so if you want to learn, listen. If you don't want to learn, just yak about, oh, this is sped up or this is. It's not. I'm just showing you right here. I'm trying to explain how you can be better. And I'm just reading some of these funny comments. And most 99.99% are good. But sometimes I just happen to look, I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? And so, now watch. If I'm using a clean sound, alternate picking. That's all alternate picking. Now, listen to economy picking using a clean sound. Do you hear? It's not as aggressive. This is one of the reasons why I love the different sounds. But when you're playing and using overdrive, alternate. That's economy mixed with hammers and pulls. Is it aggressive sounding? No. Is it super fast? Yes. But I work on these slow. That's the secret to it. And if you get the Speed Kills programs, I show so many different, they're called arpeggio shapes. They're called shapes. Like, for example, this would be a minor shape. Now here's an extension of a minor shape. Oh, and then you have this minor shape. C minor, Now I'm playing it with a clean sound, so there's no way to cloud anything. That is a minor shape, a 5-string. Now you can do a 6-string. So these are all different shapes of arpeggios. I show all these different kinds. Majors, minor, diminished is a really great one. It sounds just mean and evil. And then if I want to play diminished, I have choices. For example, here is an arpeggio, or I'm going to arpeggiate a diminished chord. So it's all minor thirds. Now I can also do it another way. I can use alternate picking. I can do it another way too. So there's all different ways to play different arpeggio shapes. And the point is, learn them all, because then you have more things that you can use to create the music that you like. Now, if you've noticed, I've been playing a very traditional guitar. This is the Sawtooth ES Relic. They do a beautiful job of relicing these guitars, and the cost is amazing. I mean, even the neck. And what I like about it is when you see the necks like this, somebody wrote, have I ever met Yngwie? Not only have I met Yngwie, I was at Yngwie's very first show here in the United States with Mike Varney from Shrapnel Records, because I was on Shrapnel Records too. And Mike and I are friends. But look I love the way the neck's worn down over the neck. So it's not like, all you did is play an A and a D chord in first position. Okay, so I'm going to switch guitars here. And let's set that bad boy down. This one. Now, I love Tele-style guitars too. And I love these lipstick pickups, which is what it's called, in the front. It's got a real thick sound to it. Somebody asked if there's a new Sawtooth coming with a Floyd Rose. Yes. There are lots of new guitars coming out. We have guitars right now in the line that have top-of-the-line German-made Floyd Roses, which is the best in the world. You can't get better than that. And they're on the guitars already. A lot of people don't want to deal with changing strings or adjusting Floyd, so we have also guitars with Wilkinson trems, super high-quality trem, and we also have guitars like this that have just a fixed stock bridge. Now, somebody asked a question, why on earth would somebody want to play left-handed? What kind of question is that? What if you're left-handed? Oh, why would somebody write with their left hand if they're left-handed? Because they're left-handed. And so I am left-handed. I learned how to play right-handed, not because I wanted to, because there were no guitars available when I started playing guitar. I mean, I'm older. There were just none available. So, and the reason I'm using this question is that Sawtooth has a left-handed version in almost every single guitar, more than any other guitar company on planet Earth. If you like the right-handed version or you see one, the chances are really good that it's in a left-handed version. Somebody wrote, yeah, Jimmy played left-handed, but Hendrix, what he did is he took a right-handed guitar, flipped a lefty, but he restrung the strings left-handed. I thought it was really cool. Now somebody wrote, does that bridge pick up a regular single coil or wound different? This is a regular single coil. I love this. There's just something about this shape that just sounds good. Just sounds great. Just sounds great. Now, somebody just wrote something else that I'm going to bring this up. Why is it necessary to play more than 2 or 3 notes per measure? Mozart said it best. One of the kings said to him, there's too many notes. And he said, it's in the movie Amadeus. He said, well, I think there's neither more nor less than are required. And that's exactly the thing I'm going to tell this person here. Instead of asking why, just understand this. Play whatever you want. See, it doesn't matter to me whether I play one note. I did a blues solo, and I just... I just sustained a note for the entire verse of the blues solo, one note. And I did that because, again, when you ask questions like that, see, here's a better question. Michael, when you play slow, is there any difference in your picking technique when you play slow versus playing fast? That's a great question, and there is a difference. But to just say, well, why do you have to do this? That's not a good question. It's because it doesn't help you. And I think of it like, are you out of your mind? And I don't mean to be hypercritical about this, but again, if, it's the questions one asks says a lot about themselves. And so those were never questions I would ask myself. I would ask myself this. I'm playing through an amp, and I've got to go. Now, how is that different from going? I'll tell you, it's a lot different. And this is the reason. You've got to play, you've got to use nuances. This is my analogy. You have small brushes for details in a painting, and then you have bigger brushes for wider brush strokes. When you're doing detailed work, like playing slower and vibratos and really making sure every note counts, that's a smaller brush. That's more detailed work. But when you're playing faster, it's a wider brush. So you have a little bit more leeway. And so your picking technique changes a little bit. It does, because see, you can flick your thumb. See, when I play really fast, and the majority of fast guitar players play quick, their thumb and their index finger does not move. But when you play slow, it has to move because you are doing nuances and you're using your fingers to control strings that would otherwise feed back. And so there's a lot more control issues when you're playing slower than faster. That's the question. And that's the answer to this. And so the idea is that these are different ways to play. And see, once you can isolate these differences and work on them, it makes your overall playing better. Now, I want to go over a couple other things too. I have two projects that I'm going over. One of them is massive, Man of War. And I've been hired as their touring guitar player, and I'm playing guitar on their brand new album. You can hear the song Immortal. I just that riff alone. I mean, Joey's a great writer. Just that. It's so simple. And it's so killer. And songs like, Man of War. He's such a great songwriter, and that's why they have, millions of people listen to them every month, and, on all these social, not social, but all these streaming services, and the concerts are big. We had to add 4 new shows for the tour because the response has been so great. I'll be on tour with them starting next year. I'm also recording, so you're going to be hearing brand new Man of War songs in addition to Immortal. You can hear Immortal right now, and that's all my guitar playing on it. I love playing in the band. We're like musical. I don't know. It's just like brothers. There, I understand the music. I'm metal through and through, and I've been through the battles, and it's one of the reasons that I love doing this live stream so much, because part of the battle is weeding through the BS and getting right down to the point. And that's what I'm trying to do with you. I'm trying, it's like with Sawtooth guitars. I love Sawtooth guitars. I could not promote Sawtooth unless I truly believed in it. I have to believe in everything I do, or I don't want to do it. I would rather not do something than do something that I don't believe in just to, it's not about selling things. Yeah, of course I like to sell things. You sell yourself. Everybody sells themselves every day. It's, watch Peaky Blinders, when Tommy goes, it just depends on which part we sell, because everybody's selling something. And, a friend of mine, Dave Martone, a great guitarist from Canada, said, he had a great saying. He goes, we're just all squirrels gathering nuts. And it's true. We're just a bunch of squirrels running around trying to gather as many nuts as we can. And so, but what I like to do is I've been like this my whole life. I take a stand, I take a position. Nitro took a position. Jim Gillette takes a position. Manowar takes a position. Sawtooth takes a position. Their position is very simply, we're going to give you the best value you've ever had with the best guitar that you can buy for this price. And that's it. I mean, high quality parts. I mean, listen to all this. It's great. The price points are awesome. When I teach guitar, I cut through the BS. I'm talking to you because it's a live stream, but when you watch Speed Kills and watch my instructional programs, it is purely the technique. I am not a judge. I am not a critic. I'm not telling you what to play. I'm not telling you what style of music. I'm telling you these are the techniques. If you want to use this technique in whatever music you want to play, this is how to do it correctly. Now, okay, let's see. Okay, now, talked about Manowar, more shows added. Go to manowar.com. I've talked about Sawtooth. They have a really cool sale. You use MAB 20 when you're checking out, and you'll get a 20% discount. These guitars are fantastic. They play great. They sound great. They're durable. I've used them on tour before, and before COVID, I did probably more shows in 3 months than I ever have in my life in 2020, and Sawtooth guitars for the entire time. They were amazing. Now, also, too, the MAB band, which is comprised of myself, a great bass player, vocalist named Nils Lawrence. He's amazing, and he's got the coolest hair. It's like down past his waist. And he is the bass player. Joe Fuco, who is one of the main owners of Sawtooth, is an incredible drummer. He's not good. He's great. And so we're going to be playing the Viper Room Saturday, December 10th in Los Angeles. So, and it's a chance to see me up close. It's a 3-piece band, no tracks, no anything. Pure music in your face. Even my double guitar solo, just a 3-piece, no background tracks. Now, I love doing solo shows, but if people have heard my solo shows, I've never cheated anything in my life in music. But it's still a background track. And so with the MAB band, there are no background tracks, no click tracks, guitar, bass, drums. Our bass player is a great lead singer, a real seriously great lead singer, and I'm a good background singer. So we have really cool 2-part harmonies. It's kind of like the 21st century version of Cream. And let's see. Now, one last thing before I end this, Smashing Pumpkins. If you remember this from last year, I played with the Smashing Pumpkins on stage with the band at Riot Fest in Chicago. It's almost 40,000 people there. Well, I'm doing it again. I'm playing with Smashing Pumpkins this Sunday night in Milwaukee. It's called the FISERV, Fiserv Forum. It's where the Milwaukee Bucks play. It's a big venue, 15, 20,000 seats. I mean, they played Madison Square Garden. Billy is great. I mean, I love his songwriting. I'm a huge fan of the band. The material is great, the dynamics. Jeff Schroeder and I have worked together on several projects, the guitarist. James Eho is in a perfect circle with members of Tool. They're just a fantastic band. So I will be on stage with them this Sunday night in Milwaukee. And so between the MAB band, Manowar, and Smashing Pumpkins, and then I'm also doing one other thing. I'm going to be doing another collab with Rob Scallon, the huge internet influencer that I worked with about 4 months ago, where we did a video. He came to my house, and it was just fantastic. Rob is super talented, and so we're going to do that too. So a lot of things going on, and but I have to admit, one of the greatest things in my life is just to have somebody come up to me and not say, oh, you're great or this. Just say, Michael, you really helped me on guitar. You said something that really helped my playing. Sawtooth guitars rule. They rule. I'm Michelangelo Badio. Go to Metal Method to get my stuff and see Man